And in this lesson, we're going to be talking about how you can use other AI tools outside of Photoshop to integrate inside Photoshop so that it makes your processes a little bit easier and you have more choices. So obviously you saw from the previous lessons that we use ChatGPT. I think that's probably the baseline for most AI platforms out there right now. Now I use ChatGPT for various things. So like I said, whether it's coming up with prompts, whether it's coming up with ideas, names, titles, images, pretty much anything that's text-based generation, I would use it. So by nature, I am a UI designer at times. So when I do design UIs, I do want, ChatGPT to come up with some things like, tooltips, helpful ideas and flows and names and things like that. So I will use ChatGPT for those reasons there. My second favorite one has got to be Midjourney for image generation. Now, Midjourney is one of the few, but for me, it's probably one of my favorite. There are other ones out there, like DALL-E as well, I think it's there. Adobe, Firefly can also do the same thing. But me personally, Midjourney is my favorite. They do have a price plan as well as a free version, which you can get into. I think the free version puts you in some sort of queue system, whereas with the paid version, you kind of have your own system and credit and built up like that. But yeah, for image generation, whether it's photography, again, like I said, because I do UI for image generation there, it's an amazing tool for generating images. Now, for color generation, I personally like to use colors. It's an amazing tool, and it does have some extensions which you can work with. Now, I predominantly work in Figma and XD interchangeably, but when it comes down to creating color palettes and generating color palettes, they actually have a plugin which actually works inside of Photoshop and Illustrator specifically. And we know Illustrator has a new AI functions for recoloring things, whether it's recoloring your entire artwork in a single click or recoloring certain sections. This would actually be useful for finding color palettes and using that then in your artwork. This is outside of Photoshop, but again, it's a really nice tool I thought perhaps I'd mention. Obviously, you've got Adobe Firefly. Now, with Adobe Firefly, there are a few things that they do. You've got the text-to-image ones, you've got the generative fill, you've got the text effects, you've got the recolor, which I was just describing inside of Illustrator. You've got 3D to image, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm really interested to get my hands on, and the expand the image. Now, this is something which is quite cool. It isn't quite generative AI. What it basically does is it takes your image and you can stretch it. And yes, it will use some AI to create the rest of the image, but you can actually move things around in the image. So let's say your subject is not in the center of the frame, you can actually move them into the center of the frame without losing any distortion or anything like that. So it's a really interesting tool, and I'm excited to see when that comes out and when we can get our hands on it. So yeah, Adobe Firefly, give that a go. You'll have some amazing stuff there. And last one, which I really like, it's Image Scaler. Now, when I take my images from Midjourney, they sometimes tend to be at a lower resolution, and I think they're working on producing higher resolution in their future updates. But for now, when I have an image and I need it scaled up massively, I can't. So it tends to be at a lower resolution. So this one is a great tool. It uses AI to scale your images, I think about 200 to 400%. There are other ones in there, but this is just the one that I personally love and use daily, to be fair. But yeah, so these are just some tools. There are hundreds of tools for AI. There are sound making tools. There are text to video tools. There are tools to, create storyboards, for example. There are loads of tools out there. And I think a simple Google, you'll be flooded with lots of them. But these are the ones that I regularly use, and I love them. Honestly, I'm more than happy to try different ones, but these ones do fit my needs, and I'm satisfied with them for now. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this quick one. But if you did, we'll head over to the next lesson, and we'll continue from there. See ya.